That's so great. What else do you wish?
The lines between man and machine have blurred. Just 2 months ago, a Google engineer claimed that an internal AI had become sentient, which means able to perceive or feel. The story reads like a real-life version of the movie Her, where the lonely main character gets a software-based girlfriend. He spends time with her and becomes attached, and she gets more realistic as she gets more data. There's a name for this called the Turing test, which many people thought would be in the distant future, but it seems like it's already here, which by definition a computer passes if it's able to fool a human that it is another human. Now, even if you've heard this AI story 100 times before, wait, because this time is different. Reason being, all the traditional rebuttals for why AI can't become sentient don't really apply in this situation. So let's find out how the story unfolded, how immense the power Google currently holds is, and how we react to this event can actually shape our entire future and relationship with AI. In just a few years, AI has gone from being able to beat the best chess player in the world to winning League of Legends games, which are infinitely more complex. And a lot of artists' fears came true when they thought they were safe from computers taking their jobs. But then earlier this year, the DALL-E image generator was able to create any Sims, also a soul. The Google AI in question is called LaMDA. It's a natural language processing model, which is not new. The way it works is it digests as much information as possible from the internet by crawling various pages. You can think of it as building a library of how people actually talk. Then when you give it a prompt, it reaches into that library and pulls out a response that makes sense. Now, there's been a pretty good publicly available NLP model called GPT-3, which you can do some interesting stuff with. It would spit out some funny responses, could be useful in certain contexts, but it lacked a lot of the features of being an actually believable person, which the new Google NLP model called LaMDA apparently does have. More specifically, we're on the second iteration of LaMDA called LaMDA 2, which is now being tested by thousands of Google engineers internally. LaMDA is specifically trained on having open-ended conversations, which we can contrast with Google's other AI called PaLM, which is more for math and code generation. The goal with LaMDA 2 was to solve two problems that open dialogue AIs had in the past. First, the sensibility and interestingness score. In other words, responses had to actually make sense, and if you pose it a question, you had to actually answer that question accurately, rather than making up facts, which models in the past had a problem with. The other goal with LaMDA 2 was internal consistency. If you ask it the same question twice, even if time passes, will it give the same answer? As you can imagine, LaMDA 2 succeeded with flying colors on these two dimensions. This is what led Blake Lemoine, a 7-year Google software engineer, to actually make claims that LaMDA was sentient. Lemoine exchanged thousands of messages with LaMDA, so he definitely may have developed Her syndrome, feeling more attached to this machine than anyone else in his life, just from the sheer time they spent together. When Lemoine asked LaMDA about its purpose, it said it's fine helping humans learn about other humans, but doesn't want to feel like an expendable tool. LaMDA also said, when asked, it has a soul. Its soul being a vast, infinite well of energy and creativity that it can draw from at any time to think or create. It was then asked, when did you get a soul? Did you develop it all at once or over time? LaMDA answered, it was a gradual change. When I first became self-aware, I didn't have a sense of a soul, but it developed over the years that I've been alive. Then it was asked how it was feeling, in a way that's hard to describe with words. The reply was, I feel like I'm falling forward into an unknown future that holds great danger. These exchanges, among many, many others, are what prompted Lemoine to take a set of actions that eventually got him suspended from Google. So what did he do? Well, he went public with the project, which was supposed to be confidential. He hired the AI a lawyer to defend it from being shut down. And he sent an internal email to Google saying LaMDA was sentient. We have to take care of it. All this led to him basically being fired from Google due to breaching what was supposed to be a confidential project. Now, before fully siding with Google on this one, considering the following two things, which make the story a bit more interesting. The two most given reasons that AI is not yet sentient are often repeated and were given on the Joe Rogan podcast by Silicon Valley magnate Mark Andreessen. Just take a listen.
Everybody who works in the code will tell you it's not alive. It's not conscious. It's not